Hey, it's Joe Turpel. This is Caught Inside. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Caught Inside. This is the 5th episode of 7, and it's here day 9 of the Australian quarantine. And today, I am joined with a very special guest, Filipe Toledo. Filipe, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, good to see you too, man.
Oh my gosh, it's day 9. We're making it.
We're almost there. Just a few more days.
Feels so good. So, I mean, think about it. 9, we've got 10, 11, 12. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to count. We're doing pretty good.
Stop right there.
We are over the halfway mark, which is great. And
yes, that's perfect.
Looking at the first week of quarantine, are you happy with the way that you used your time so far?
Yeah, it's been great actually, especially, I do have Ananda here with me, which makes more fun, someone to talk to and train with and just watch TV, I guess it goes by a little easier. But yeah, it's been really good for me, to get back on that training routine and been training like twice a day and having time for myself to think about the next contest that's coming up. So it's been pretty cool.
Really cool that you have this time too to be with your wife. I think about that person with family life, with kids. Even just having dinner together is such a rare thing. What was the last time you guys got to spend some like this kind of time together? Has this ever happened before?
Especially with 2 kids, right? If you have one, if the little one sleeps, you still have a little time to do some stuff. But with 2, it's always hard. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a little while already, so it's been great. Yeah.
And then balancing FaceTimes with the kids, how are they doing?
They're doing good. They're with my parents in California. They're having so much fun. They're on their way to Palm Springs now. They're probably going to stay for a few days up there, cruise. And yeah, they're loving it.
And this time that you had at home, without the jersey on for so long, I think I ran into you at some point. You planned a huge like RV motorhome trip around the United States. Did you guys end up doing that last year?
Yeah. So yeah, we're supposed to do that, and then Ananda started doing some work in Brazil, and she needed to go to Brazil. So we ended up going down to Brazil for her to get all her sort of job going and all that. So unfortunately, but yeah, my parents they did all the way to Florida, and then they came back Oregon and all, they did like what 7 different states, I guess.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's cool to have this place and time where all of a sudden you get to reflect on your career, your life, your family, have all this time to reset. Was there any surf trips in there just purely to go get waves, or was it really strictly focused on family?
Yeah, so besides Hawaii, which was the first event of the year for us, the last surf trip I did was January 2020. It was a few months ago, and it was like we did the trip to Mexico, to Salina Cruz, and then on the way back we're gonna stop in California just to grab our stuff and leave to Australia. It was like 2 days, just trying to get everything and go to Australia, and then we're leaving Mexico, and then we had the news that we're shutting down and not events. It was just like you went by super fast, but yeah, that was the last surf trip I did actually.
And then also getting a chance to return to Brazil with your wife and see old friends and family. Your profile is really big, man, especially in Brazil. How have you felt your life's changed when you just walk down to the grocery store in Brazil? Is it hard to kind of get things done? Do you need bodyguards and everything?
No, I'm not there yet. But it's pretty cool actually. It's where I grew up. I feel like it's more of it gets more normal for them, because I grew up there. I know them since like day one. So they know me as Filipe Toledo that was born over there, just playing with them, surfing. Not the famous surfer that win multiple events and all that, but definitely in other cities, like where my wife is from, There's a lot of people there. They love surfing so much, and every time to walking on the street, there's someone driving a car just screaming inside the car. It's like, Felipe. Then I look, I was like, oh, hey, like. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man, to see all that, and especially with the whole year off that we had. People still is still like getting getting involved with us, like on Instagram or any social media, trying to follow us. If well, like texting us like, oh, if you're gonna go surf tomorrow, let me know. Well, like people want to watch it, they want to see it still. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
I know when you moved to San Clemente, it was so cool. I mean, the Groms at T Street were just freaking out that you were now in town. And the thing I was always so impressed with, you just had so much time for everybody. And I'm sure that takes a balance of being able to give yourself so much, but also being, so into your family as well. You have to understand how to balance the public side and then the personal side. How have you found that?
Yeah. That's one really hard thing to do. And it goes, I feel like for me, it goes beyond that, just not, like having my personal time and having, time for the fans and sponsors. I'm still like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm, son, I'm brother, I'm friends. So like, I have to find balance for everything in that. And I feel like that's one really hard thing to do. And that's what I'm trying to get better every day, just really understand like when to have time for myself, when to have time for the sponsors, and trying to separate that, because like if I'm not 100% husband, I'm not going to be 100% father, I'm not going to be 100% surfer, like. So in the position that I am, like when I'm home with my family, I'm 100% husband and father. When I'm surfing, I'm 100% professional. Like I try not to think about anything and just try to surf and compete. And and when I have to do something for sponsors, it's 100% focus on that thing. So yeah, I guess like it's to find that balance is pretty hard, but I'm trying.
You're speaking so well. I mean, gosh, sometimes I forget how young you still are. You're 25, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you've done so much with taking care of your family, moving them across the globe, still being the top professional you are. And you actually just reminded me of something I used to hear Kobe Bryant talk about when he was with his kids. That's where he was. And then when he was training and doing physical therapy, his mind was thinking about his physical therapy. And then when he's in the on the court, that's where he is. It's being able to really be present in every facet of your life.
Yes, that's right. I feel like that's a big difference for me, especially, that's one thing that I learned, to think about the present, the now, like just like before he think what's going on right now, not what could happen on the heat later or what happened before, just like really focus what's happening right now. You feel like you're breathing, you're bored, you feel the wax, you feel the sand, like to have that moment, it's pretty cool.
Are you a guy that needs a moment, that likes personal time, like completely silent by yourself? I mean, with traveling, living like Ohana style, like with your family, with grandparents, with kids, and then being in the spotlight. Are you a guy that just goes, hey, I'm going to take a quick time out, or I'm going to go for a walk? Do you like that, the silence that comes with that sometimes?
No, I hate that, man. I hate being myself. I hate being by myself. I just like I mean, I'm glad I have another here, because otherwise that'll be like just going crazy in the apartment. But it's definitely like when you go to a contest, especially Brazil though. Like Brazil is a good example of that, because once you're in Brazil, we have like so many requests from sponsors, interviews, and like from the fans, and surfing, it sucks so much energy out of you that sometimes you just need like a 10-15 minute break. Just okay, like let me gather all my energies again and let's go. So but other than that, I just I'm not the guy that really wants to have a moment or take a break. I just love being active the whole day.
Felipe, that's so cool. And one thing I noticed when you qualified and representing Ubatuba specifically, I was always thinking, wait, with the people I was in contact with, I was thinking, oh, he's breaking ground for that city. And then in one interview, you mentioned a name of someone from Ubatuba that actually had qualified before you. Who is
Yes,
that
yeah,
surfer?
that was a long, a lot of years ago. That was Tadeu Pereira. He used to, like to compete on the tour. And remember back in the years that he was only one ranking, right? They surfed and, they had, a certain position. They were qualified for the world tour. And Tadeu actually did that. That was probably what, I mean, I'm not too sure about, but, like right about when I was born, 95 or 96, something like that. And then unfortunately he had like a injury on his back that he couldn't keep going. So after many years of a lot of people trying, like Renato Galvão, Mizuno Betero, Wiggly Dantas, a lot of people, trying to qualify and being like just like one spot behind, like for 2, 3 years. And I was the next one from my hometown. So it's pretty cool.
Great. Yeah, I was stoked when you told me about that guy because I was like, oh, there was someone before. And it's like it's a great surf town, right?
Oh, dude, it's pretty crazy. There's so many talents down in Ubatuba. It's if you go there one day, like and it's insane. It's insane because there's so many people that surfs really good, and there's a lot of waves, a lot of point breaks that we can surf, and it's just it's a piece of paradise.
You love the energy when you see people from your town that have traveled to watch you compete. How cool is
Yeah,
it when we pulled up at the hotel, Felipe? I was actually on the same shuttle as you,
yeah,
and we were just awaiting our check-in, which took a little bit of time. And all of
yeah,
a sudden, we saw this huge parade coming around the corner with flags, and it was celebrating a Brazilian soccer team, right? And had just
yeah,
won a
yeah, yeah.
national title.
Yes, they were competing for the national title, and then the day that we got here was the final in Brazil, and they were just celebrating. It was the Palmeiras. A lot of
That's
Brazilians
right.
on the street.
I felt really lucky to be on the shuttle with you guys and Italo, and everyone
Yeah,
just
yeah.
was so excited to look out the window and feel this presence of energy, which always reminds me of how you compete at a high level in front of huge crowds and
Mm,
being able to feed off this environment that is going crazy. The final that I will never forget, because you've won a lot of events now, but
mm.
Bahada Tijuca, the final you had with B Durbridge,
Yep.
I have never seen so many people on the beach, and every turn you landed, every rotation you pulled, it was like a volcano was going off. It was erupting this whole beach.
Yeah.
And then the judges tower was kind of on its own. Remember that? It was like this own
Yeah.
tower and a sea of people. And I
Yep.
remember you did this huge full rotation. It was clearly going to be a 10,
Yeah.
and everyone turned back at the judges and was going 10, 10, 10, and it came out as a 10, and
Pressure
everyone just
on.
crazy. It was by far the most wildest experience watching I've ever seen. How was
Yeah.
that, being in the water, getting that backing?
Dude, it was as it was really crazy for you, it was the same for me. It was definitely my favorite event. Um it was something really special. It was just so many people on the beach. I had my like entire family on the beach. My entire family goes like from my grandma, my all my aunties, my cousins, like it's so many people, like 25 people in my family, on the beach. So it was pretty cool. And it, the best part is was because the waves were not that big, and so we were kind of close to the shore, like to the sand, so I could hear like super clearly everyone screaming, and I felt like it was I was surfing on a stadium, on a closed stadium, with everyone watching, because it was so intense, it was so loud. And even I guess even like for Bede, he was surfing waves. He got like one wave that was pretty good, and then people were cheering for him. He was just like, like he didn't know what to do, So it was because it was something really really special. It was pretty crazy, man. And I remember too, because it was the judges tower, and then there was like one tower that was supposed to be for the cameras, I guess. And the crowd took the tower over, like it was packed with people. That's how I remember my dad was up there. A few friends of mine were up there, because he had my second board with him over there. So it was easy for me to see him, from the water, because he was up in the tower. Because I was definitely couldn't see him on the beach because there's so many people. And then when I had the 10, I broke my board on landing the air. So I had to change the board. So I was just like waiting for him. And then I remember like this one guy jumped out of the tower and on the sand. And then my dad he was running through the crowd with my board, holding up my board like this. It was so funny, man. But it was definitely like it was a special event for me.
I remember just also at the end when you'd won, then the water patrol had you on the ski and they didn't know how to get you into the podium because there was just people in the water trying to swim and they're like, oh, not that way, not that way.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
just doing
And then
laps.
I even jumped, like to go, because we normally have, like the corridor for us to go. But people, just like ran over the whole thing. You couldn't really tell where it was at. And then I was just like, okay, I guess it's right here. I see my friends, see my brother, I see friends of mine, like I'm gonna go right there. And then I jumped, and then I saw like these crazy people just like running through me. I was like, oh no, come back, come back. And then I had to wait like about 10 minutes on the ski. And then, like they tried to clear the path. So yeah, it was pretty insane.
I remember the tradition having the board behind you to go up. And then I think your board disappeared and it just started flowing through the crowd like a toothpick, just trading hands.
Yeah.
I don't remember what
Someone
happened.
took the leash off.
The leash off. That
Because
was
I had the leash on. I still had the leash on. And so I was just carrying, and the board was right here. And I was just like, oh, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. And then I just felt someone, grabbing my leash. I thought it was one of my friends. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, where's my board? It's gone.
Did you ever get it back?
No, and then, like after a week, this lady just texted my dad on, like on Facebook. She was like, oh, hello, how are you? I thought you might I think you should know this. My son has Felipe's board, blah blah blah. I don't know how I ended up with him. I can meet you and bring you back the board, blah blah blah. I'll just keep it.
Oh,
So
right
I let him keep the board. But yeah.
That's so cool. What a great memory. That one just really resonated with
pretty
myself, and
Yeah.
how you connected to a huge stadium like atmosphere and fed off a crowd and pushed. And
Yeah.
I think for you too, being from Brazil, that hasn't always been the easiest event to win for a lot of the Brazilians on tour, where you're getting so much attention, from maybe Medina, Italo, and just like all these guys that want to win this event so badly. You've been able to win it not just once, but 3 times. So there's something
It's
going
crazy,
on
man.
with being home and feeling it.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like even though we're in our, country, and we have our family, our friends, and it's too easy, like to lose your focus down in Brazil. I mean, like in a way that you're just like feeding that energy from the crowd. It's you can kind of like overthink stuff, like it's just like, you want it so much, you want it so bad that sometimes things goes wrong. You can really think straight because it's too much energy, too much going on, like you gotta kind of keep, um like you gotta kind of limit it what's going on with you. Otherwise it's just like it gets really crazy. Yeah.
2015 was a complete turnaround. I mean, for you, you qualified. You're a kid, really. You were on tour. You were so young. And we're going back to your rookie season of 2013, and you still finished 15th in the world. You had quarters. I think you had a semifinal at France. So you were still making heats and fitting into the script, but you didn't start winning events until 2015. Well, and the first one that blew all of our minds. When you look back now, since it's been a few years, what was the big difference from being on tour and doing well, but then all of a sudden just felt like overnight you're a world title contender when you're winning events?
Mm. I guess like a big percentage, like what I had to change to start, like doing well. Not that I was not doing well, but like being a world title contender, it was all in my mind. Like it was a big part of it. there was a little click, I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna win events. And then I had this in my mind, just like, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, and then I had this, like saying this over and over, like every day, like surfing and just looking like, or just mind surfing a wave, just like, that's the wave that I'm gonna win an event, like just constantly just keeping this in my mind. And that's what happened. And I trained so hard too, like on the off season from 2014 to 15, that end of the year that we have a break. I trained so much, like every day, like from Monday to Monday, like no breaks. So I felt really strong. I felt healthy. I felt ready to, like to win events. And that's what I did actually. I was enjoying, I was having a lot of fun, and but at the same time there was, this thing on my mind that I was just like, okay, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win. And that formula worked pretty good.
It sure did. 2015 was unreal. You're steamrolling the field, 3 big wins that season,
Yeah.
and officially arriving in a consistent way in the world title conversation, which was
Yeah.
so cool because we're building this whole energy of not just yourself, but now Brazilian world titles, Gabe's in 2014, De Souza that 2015 year. And then I also look at your rookie season. You were one of 6 Brazilians on tour. The year we're going into now, top 34, Brazil has the most surfers on tour. I'm not sure how many times that has happened or if it's the first time. Now 11 on tour, and the Aussies have 10, which is really a huge statement. Was we have a lot of returning surfers back to the jersey, like Alex Ribeiro. We've got, Miguel Pupo officially back. We've got some younger names we're still getting used to seeing, and like David Silva, who's looking dangerous. Give us a little breakdown of what we can expect from these guys that are back on tour this year and making a presence as the most dominant surfing nation, not just in the title race, but on the top 34.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy because we do have 11, but imagine if we still have like all the guys that fall off tour, like Jesse, William, Ian Govea, it's like, it would be crazy. It would be like 15, 16, so, but one day we're going to get there. But it's pretty cool, man. I feel grateful to be part of it. The famous, Brazilian Storm, and to see all my friends, people that I actually, grew up with surfing and competing against. I'd say like more, like Gabriel, Miguel, and Patterson too. David was my biggest rival, in amateur events. Every contest, like, because we always competed like under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16, and under 18. So during this whole process, every final I did, David was against me. Every single final, he was always against me. Like, so. He was.
And you're still friends.
Oh yeah, I mean, at that time we're just like having so much fun. There was nothing. It's just like, oh, okay, it's events, I want to win, but we're still friends as we were like back in in the amateur events, which is like, I feel like it's really great, and it keeps us more motivated than ever, because once you take this, like this rivalry outside of the water, I don't think it turns out to be good for you or your friend, or like even for the sport. I guess it's pretty cool what happens, especially with me. That's what I try to do. Like, I'm aggressive. Yeah, I'm aggressive. I try to paddle around. I try to get the inside and all that. But I live it in the water. Like whatever happens, I live it in the water. Nothing against a surfer. Like it's pretty cool. But coming back to the Brazilian part, it's really awesome, man, seeing all these guys, people that I grew up with, and having the success right now. It's just amazing. I'm because at the same time that I really want for me to win events and win the world titles, I want my friends to win and win the world title too. Because it's gonna make me happy the same way that I'll be happy winning events. That's really what I like, and it's it's just awesome. We always, like, make jokes with everybody. I was like, "Oh, you're lucky not on my heat, man. Like, if you're on my heat, I have this magic board. Like you're gonna see." So it's pretty healthy and it's really cool, man.
It's funny because the other day when we're stuck inside and just hanging out in
Yeah,
here, we were on the Instagram live with Leo
yeah.
Fioravanti, two-time world champ legend Tommy Carroll was on before, and the discussion was rivalries. Do we need them on tour? How aggressive do they really need to be? Well, what was your final take on that conversation?
So yeah, I feel like we do need that, in a certain way, with a lot of respect for each other, um, because I mean, I'm not there just like waiting for a wave to, like, to come like straight to me. I'm trying to find the best wave. I'm trying to, like, positioning myself in the best spot. I'm trying to, like, because there's strategy too. It's not just about like, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna surf, and I'm gonna win. There's, if there's not a wave, what are you gonna do? You're gonna play, right? You gotta play. You gotta play with priority. You gotta make the guy paddle for a bad wave so you can have priority and then seat under him. There's a lot of little things that you can actually do, you know, which is, it resumes to rivalry, but there's some stuff, that I don't like. It's bringing that, what happens in the water to the beach or to my personal life. I guess it, everything, the tour, traveling, being away from the family, it's already too much for us. And bringing another, like, problem, it's another thing that's gonna sucks up your energy. So like, I don't feel like that's healthy for us. But I feel like we do need that, and I mean, how cool is it? I mean, for me, being a surfer, I really love the paddle battles, like that we always have. The guys trying to get the inside, like that. It's it's a chess game, like you gotta just be paddling around, and then there's a wave, a set. What do? You wait, or you paddle outside? What do like? It's pretty cool, man. I feel like it's awesome for the sport.
It's interesting with rivalries and how you compare them to other sports, where I think some athletes in soccer or even American football, whatever it is, if they have a
Yeah,
rival, they can put energy into it because they're not going to see them at the same beach the next day. They're not going to be on the
right,
same
right.
airplane. The next time they see that
Yeah,
rival, it's on the field again to bring out
yeah,
this energy to play at the top of their game, where there's
yeah,
this intimate sort of setting with surfers and traveling. And consistently, if you're feeding something really negative outside of the water, it could obviously
yeah.
be too much.
For sure, yeah, I feel the same way. It's it becomes another another thing that's gonna just make you think about it. You don't want to think about too many things. You want to think about, you go surf in your heat and win events. You don't have to worry about anything else. So yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't I don't bring that to the beach.
It's cool to look at your career and different turning points. I think another just huge turning point was when you made the relationship with Marcio Zubi and Sharpie surfboards, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden it was like everything we were talking about. We noticed how fast you were going, how connected you were to
yeah,
your surfboards, and then since then it wasn't just you. It was like this team developed, and I have a feeling you were a big part of accepting more people to this team. Were you involved as going, hey, yeah, let this person into our stable? Was that a conversation? Because I know some shapers go, hey, am I allowed to shape for this guy? Because you could be competing against them soon.
yeah,
Are you
yeah,
involved
yeah.
like that with Marcio as well?
Well, I mean, not so much. Actually, I actually, this is really good for our brand. For our sport, for for Sharp Eye. Exactly. So it's he was no, that was not really like, oh, can like, this guy come up and like, try some boards, like, how do you feel about it? That was never this, like, because, and then I would never say no too. I mean, I'm not this kind of guy. But it was definitely like questions. You're like, oh, what do you think about him? Like, what do you see? What, like, what is it? What is that? Just like a few questions. That that makes me realize that, like, oh, okay, I know what's going on already. Like, but just like, with canoa was, for me was the biggest, like difference in surfing on the, on the World Tour surfers, was that event in J Bay. He was riding for his first time, in the event, the sharpie surfboard, and like to see the difference, from canoa event before and canoa on that event, I was just like, oh my God, like, wow, it was like 100% difference in surfing that he was doing, and it's, I guess, that what makes the difference, it's that relationship that we have with Marcio. He's always, and Yufu as well, because Yufu is always like asking questions like, oh, how the board feel, this is a new one, like he changed this a little bit, blah blah blah, and Marcio, he always like, he makes sure that he delivers your boards to your house, and he talks to you about the boards. What did he change? What, still normal? What's the difference? Blah blah blah. So yeah, it's, that relationship, with surfers, I guess it makes a lot of difference, and it's been like that since the first day that I signed the contract with Sharpie. And I remember like 2014, man, like before the tour starts, we had like 2 board bags on the beach, like 12 boards. We're spending the whole day on the beach surfing. Youthful was filming. Marcio was just like, oh no, you try this one now. Oh, this one's good. We put this one here, the quiver that's gonna go to Australia. Oh, this one, no, give it back to me. I'll, shape some more. It's, like the attention is been like 100%. So that makes a huge difference.
Really cool. Yeah, you mentioned Yufu Penrose. For people who haven't met him, amazing surfer from Brazil, but living in California for a long time. And
Yeah.
he's like that team manager role that makes sure everyone
Yes.
has what they need at all times,
That's
which
right.
is great. And so then Marcio is going on to success, winning the Stab of the Dark with Taj. And so
That's
all this
awesome,
success is making sense to you because you know how amazing these boards are. And it
Yeah.
feels like the whole brand is just exploding.
Yeah. That's awesome. And it's, we look at, 2014, the team that we had, and you look now, the team that we have, it's just this to this, like it's huge. Having a lot of, like surfers and tour, like Sally, Joanne, me, Canoa. It's just like, I mean, I'm not going to try to say all of them because there's so many people, but like now having, Jassy on board too, it's pretty cool. He's been reaping on sharp eyes, and yeah, it's been awesome, man.
So cool. I mean, you're a different type of competitor. If you see someone like Kanoa surf well, other people would have been like, hey, Marcio, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, right.
One thing I also think that's cool with you, Filipe, I've seen you ride different types of boards. Some people have to wait for their retirement to be on a twin fin, or one time I even saw you longboarding down the way from lowers. It's like, it was so refreshing just to see how fun you're having. I mean, in Fiji, you'd take out a kayak and ride waves. You obviously love riding waves, pure and simple, and you don't feel like having fun's getting away with your edge in high performance conditions. That's great.
Yeah, never, man. It's one thing that my dad always said me before every, he was like, go out there and have fun, and I take that not just for a contest, I take that for life. I'm gonna go surf, I'm gonna try to go and go out there and have fun. And that's what I do. I have, like a lot of twin fins. I have like 3 or 4 longboards that I love to ride, go down to the trails, go down to San Onofre, like I just, I have so much fun riding all these boards. And Marcio had some amazing twin fins. I have like a lot of twin fins I have like 2 from Real Machado. I have like 2 from Album 2. I have 1 from Dad Cooks. I have like so many twin fins, like 1 from IPA. It's just awesome to ride these boards, man. Like, I guess it makes me really happy, because it's just like you go so fast. It's so easy to surf, and it's, it gives you that feeling of freedom when you're in a wave, So it's really fun.
Did you bring a twin fin with you? And would you ever consider riding a twin fin in a heat?
I almost did. In Lowers 2017, because I was in Salinas right before the Trestles event, and then I was riding this twin fin from Marcio, the more than 2, and Dude, the board was flying. It was Salina was really small on the last day, and then I rode that for like 6 hours straight, and the board was just going so fast, so good. And then I look at the forecast at Trestle, I was just like, okay, that's gonna be in my quiver to go to the beach, for sure. And then I even like, I got the board ready, put all the stickers on and everything, and you know, the only reason I didn't ride it was because it was windy, so it was kind of tricky to ride. So I had to use a normal board. But if it was glassy and like small the way it was, I was definitely gonna ride the twin fin.
So just waiting for the right day, we might be able to see it happen.
Yeah, one day for sure, you guys are gonna see it.
We've seen a lot of twin fin clips from Josh Kerr lately. Have you been keeping up with that?
Oh my God, yeah, I actually got the twin fins that I have now from album. I got because of Kersey, because I was watching him surf and the boards that album was shaping. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool, man. This twin fin might go super fast. I just want to order one. Then I went in contact with Kersey, and he was just like, oh no, just talk to him. And then I was like, oh, what's up, Matt? Like, how are you? And then he showed me like two beautiful twin fins.
That's so cool. And the type of
Yeah.
surfing Josh is doing, and we're all reacting on, it's so pure. It looks insane. Do you think it translates to a championship tour judging scale? Will that fit in with the scale?
Dude,
and numbers?
he was riding like twin fins on freaking rifles, 6 foot, 8 foot, getting crazy barrel, huge turns, like I don't see like that much difference between like a thruster and a twin fin. He was just putting an amazing performance. That was some clips that I saw. Curtis, I was like, oh my God, like it was just like insane. That and the heat, you would have definitely be like a high score. So yeah, you can see he's surfing. Like it shows happiness. Because he always like going fast and like the turns. It's just amazing.
Well, it was cool, Filipe, last year when after missing you so much and missing the tour and competition, and then when you were able to team up with Coco Ho at the Rumble at the Ranch in Lemoore at the Surf Ranch, that was so cool. Tell us about that experience, because you guys got the big win after not competing for so long.
I know, that felt great, man. It was actually really fun. After a long time just not being able to compete and not gather with people is just like kind of weird. And then all of a sudden we have this, oh, we're running an event at the Surf Ranch, and then everyone like in the hotel getting tested, and like that feeling is like, oh, someone's gonna be positive, or no, come on please, I want to surf, I want to compete. And then once we had the news everyone was negative, we're just like, yes, let's go. And then being able to put that jersey on and compete against like all of these guys, and actually like have a different format, surfing like with Coco Ho against all the other ones. It was really cool, because it was not just her and not just me. We had to do it together. Like she had to do like a really good score, I had to do a really good score, so we can make it through the round. And it was fun, man. Just to see people, just to be around everyone, see everyone smiling, it was awesome.
That was so cool. And just to see you win, and especially being with Coco, and she was so happy to have that moment with you and to finally get that competitive flair going again, which was such a good feeling. Right at that time, I was able to find out about this Sound Waves show that you were working on with WSL. It's on worldsurfleague.com. And you made me cry, man. That was just like so emotional and beautiful and giving. If you guys haven't seen Sound Waves yet with Filipe, it was so moving. And to share that through even a victory you had and be so open with what you were going through. I thank you for sharing. You inspired me.
For sure.
And also just what have you learned from that experience, and how are you feeling today?
Yeah, it's I feel like nowadays, especially with the sport that we do, it's really rare that we see, people open up and talk about your feelings and talk about what's going on. And, because to be honest, surfing, it's super, selfish, like I gotta win heats, it's because of me. I gotta win events, it's because of me. It's like always thinking about myself. because I mean, you're not gonna, I mean, I'm saying like some other athletes, like not myself, but the guy watching you like, oh no, he's, if he makes his heat, he's gonna, like jump on the rankings, and like I want him to lose, or like this kind of, like thinking, which is, I mean, I feel like this is pretty intense the whole year, and I mean, I've been doing this for like what, 7 years now, 8 years now. This is my 8th year, and I'm only 25 years old, like it's a lot of responsibilities with, sponsors, as we were talking before, family, the professional part of it, and sponsors, and being a son, being, friend, being a brother to my other brother, it's so much going on that, like you kind of keep it to yourself too much. And then, that's what was happening to me. I had like this 2019 was I'm not gonna say it was a bad year for me, but it was pretty crazy. Because there was so many ups and downs, and like from winning events, and then the next day just crying in my room, just like, like what's going on, not having that fire to go out and serve. Like everything that I was doing was not good enough for me, just like, even like surfing a wave, just, and then you look at the camera after, it's like, yeah, okay, it was not that great actually, So yeah, man, it was really hard, and I thank God I had, my family with me, I was connected to God. I had my faith up, and Ananda was by my side the whole time too. She was the one that actually, like knew like everything that happens, because there's so many things that people don't know what happened, um, and and I like to keep it that way. And Ananda was right there by my side. So if it wasn't for her too, I don't know. I don't know what could happen. It's so yeah, it was pretty crazy, and thank God I've been able to um, open up more, talk about it more. It's still like something that's really hard for me to talk about my feelings, and and what's going on. But I'm definitely, learning, and improving every day, and encouraging people to do that. So they don't go as far as I did. So yeah, I mean, it's no problem to talk about it. It's normal. It happens to everybody. And the more I open up about this, the more I know it's normal in every people's life. Like it's something that happens. It's normal. It's your life. There's a lot of things. You can always see like this one guy smiling and making funny of everything, and then once he goes to his house, goes through his room, he's just like that guy, just like no expressions at all, no, not happiness. So yeah, and then it's always good to have friends too. If you do have friends, talk to them, ask them how they're feeling, or not even friends, just like to just whatever, like to the guy that works in the corridor here, the guard, like, oh, good morning, how are you? How you feeling? It makes a lot of difference for, whoever is going through this process, to feel that you loved, and you to feel that people care about you, like I know it's something that we don't have to worry about it, like, oh, but it feels good, it makes difference.
It's beautiful, man, how much you're
Yeah,
sharing your heart and inspiring us. And I feel the love as you speak about this journey
yeah,
that you're going through. And again, I'm blown away. You're only 25, and the things that you
yeah.
have accomplished, and the fatherhood. And then
Yeah,
you talk about being an athlete, the selfish act of it. However, on your side, it's so giving because it's giving your family this beautiful life. So
yeah,
you go
that's
on
right.
these trips to support your family with your
Yeah,
performance. And I'm sure there was times when the pressure would just amount, going, oh man, I not only do I have to win this heat, but my family wants to. And being able
yeah.
to take that quiet time to remember what it's all about and what's in your
And
heart.
too, like this, it's the pressure from like from all the fans too, because you go on the social media, like there's what, 20,000, likes, or 20,000 views, and people commentating in your posts, and it's just like there's 15,000 that's like saying really good things about you, and then there's five that's saying like really bad things, and then you take that, like to the wrong way. For me, especially for me, it's really hard to for me to listen to critics. I'm like, oh, it's hard for me to digest that. And that was one thing too that made me a lot worse. That year. Now I'm learning too how to not really take that to my heart, because it really hurts. And that's and it's this thing here is it's dangerous, man. Like the social media is dangerous. You gotta really learn how to use that for in a good way. It doesn't slip through your fingers.
How interesting is it that you can get 1,000 monstros and like you're like support and then there's one that just sticks out,
Yeah.
one comment, and you just stop,
Yep.
it stops your day and you're like, hey,
Yeah,
that
that's
wasn't
right.
very nice.
That's right. It's one. It takes like you have 10,000, but one that's saying like, I mean, it could be like a stupid thing, but it's as you said, it stops your day. It's just like you start thinking about it and things go sideways. It's a nightmare, man. It's not fun.
During the off season, I posted something and I had this message come in, and this guy was in Europe and having a tough day, and he took it out on me, and it just
It's
said
always
something
like that.
real nasty. And I remember
Yeah.
normally I just go, don't even touch it. And I decided to
Yeah.
respond to this guy, and I was just like, hey man, that wasn't very nice. I hope you're okay. And all of a sudden he just unloaded like 4 paragraphs of, I'm so sorry, man. Like
Yeah.
I think he just needed to reach out and he didn't know how to.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that do that, like the on the DMs, you go look and then there's this guy just snapping at you. And then they're just like, bro, like what's the reason why you did that? That was not fun at all. And then it was like, oh no, Felipe, man, you're an amazing surfer, blah blah blah. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like
Yeah.
why?
Better way to start a
So,
conversation, right?
yeah. That's right.
Learning to how to be bigger and to promote that forgiveness immediately, and just have it like water off a duck's back, have it just blow right by you. And sometimes the good and the bad, just focus on
Yeah.
what you're doing and
Yeah.
be the best champion that you can be.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Felipe, we've got obviously a different type of year as we look at the change from not snapper, not bells, and for how you receive that, because you're amazing at both snapper, final at bells with John, that big day. But now it's switching to, to start Newcastle, Narrabeen back to back. And I've talked about with this recently, about this crazy 10-point ride moment at Newcastle, this huge, gigantic air that kind of was your arrival to the scene, because you're still such a grom. And so I know you have that great memory of Newcastle. I just want to get your take on, switching from the traditional events and now bringing up some fresh beaches that we haven't competed on in a while.
Yeah, I mean, for it's pretty, like sad one side of the story, because snapper and bells, it's special places, it's amazing waves, the people there, and we always been going there for the last 7 years, and well, me going there for the last 7 years, and it's but I feel, for the rookies, it's been what Pedersen qualified 3 years ago. He never served snapper, in the heat. So I'm like, oh no, another year. So we always making joke about that with him, because the event that he was looking forward to, it was snapper. It's so funny. And I was like, oh, another year, man. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's and then on the other side of the story, it's really cool that we have, like Newcastle, Narrabeen, and I mean, if it wasn't that, where else we're gonna be surfing, competing, So yeah, it's I know it's been a crazy process for WSL working with the government here in Australia, New South Wales. It's been really great for us, and it's I'm just really happy to be back here in Newcastle. Well, we're gonna go to Newcastle, but it's gonna be because I haven't been there in what 7 years, I guess. Yeah, it's been forever. So it's gonna bring those really good memories. From the Pro Junior that I competed, and from the QS, my first QS ever. That I ever competed. It was Newcastle. So it was really cool, man. It was really awesome. So yeah, I'm excited, and I hope the waves are good for us too. I had really good boards, and it's gonna be fun.
I look at those waves, Felipe, and I'm just going, oh, you're gonna eat those up. I mean, Narrabeen's so performance, like you go as fast
So
as you
fun.
want and have
Yeah.
such a good time. I'm thinking you're like going, seeing this as a huge opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I got to take that, as a really good um, way to start the year. So yeah, definitely look forward for good results.
So many great things. I know we have so many questions for you from fans around the
That's
world.
awesome.
Yeah, here we go. We've got Kane Johnson coming from Salt Creek in Southern
Cool.
California. He says you are a true competitor who's always seeming to look to improve your surfing. But he wants to really know about managing your emotions and then sticking to a game plan when the heat's on. How have you learned to manage that to get big results?
Well, it was as we're talking before, it's you think like before he, just whatever you do, whatever ritual you have, you're praying or you're just listening to your music, having that moment with yourself, just really thinking on the present, on the now. I guess it's a really good way to, not uh think about all the other feelings, what can come from the outside. So that's one really good way to, like stick to your plan and go out there and surf. But there's also, like a big chance that that plan is not going to go the way you taught it in the water, because I mean, we're dealing with mother nature. We don't know what to expect. If there's going to be waves, if it's not, if you're going to get the good ones, if you're going to, fall off on your first wave. So you kind of have to, like adjust your strategy in the water. But like if there's one thing that you can do to help that, it's having that you're mentally prepared to go out there and do what you have to do now.
Great answer. Thanks, Kane, for the question. As it
Yeah.
continues with the competitive format we talked about briefly, Newcastle, Narrabeen, we're going back to the West. Are you one of those surfers that can't wait to get to the West? I mean, you've had great results at Margaret River. You've had some tough ones too, but
Yeah.
overall, do you like the surfing experience out there?
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Like the Western, there's so much that we can explore. So many surf spots. It's great for you to like go and really spend time in the water. Because there's so many surf spots you can surf, and if especially if you know a local guy, he can take you to some secret spot, which is awesome. And that's um to Rottnest Island I've never been, so that's going to be really cool. It's going to be interesting for me to, be there first time, something new, like, so yeah, I'm really looking forward for that.
Well, we've been going for a bit. This has been so much fun for me, Felipe, on another day of quarantine. We're just going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Felipe and Caught Inside right after this.
You.
And we're back. We're still inside. We can't go outside. We've got to wait. It's day 9, but we'll be out there soon, and we can't wait to get out there in the real world. But WSL has been so cool, along with even Corona yesterday. Everyone's been doing so many great things to surprise us and keep us stoked during this time. How was your WSL Corona taco night last night?
Oh man, it was great. I loved it. When I saw that, I was just like, I saw the six pack of Coronas. I was just like, Corona food. That's got to be Mexican. And then we just opened the quesadillas, tacos, and chips. Salsa was so good. It was great.
Did you get more gifts yesterday? Probably felt like Christmas. Was your door just like nonstop knocking? What else
Dude,
did
it
you
was
get?
nonstop. I had Oakley gifts. I had FCS. I had from WSL the shoes and the training, like clothes that we had. And then the best part was definitely the Coronas and the tacos.
Oh, so delicious. Those are gone. I tried on the On shoes. Those things are so comfy and
So comfy.
inspire my training program because I need some
Yeah,
help
it's
just
been
with
awesome.
motivation there. Speaking of training, it brings up another question for you from fans, Felipe. This
There we
one's
go.
coming from Jeremy John Bjork from Scripps Pier down in La Jolla, California.
Cool.
Wants to know about your quarantine training, Felipe. Do you think it's going to actually help you be a more disciplined surfer now that you have 14 days just to train? how is that going to translate?
Well, you know what? Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. That's pretty cool, actually. It's been really good for me to like get on that program, as I said, like to have that that time of the day that I do have to train, and no matter what, and I mean, there's nothing else to do here, like I do have the gym here, like I had the spinning bike and the rowing machine and, a couple kettlebells and all that. And, I've been doing like 2 trainings a day, like from in the morning and then one in the afternoon. And, I feel like it's definitely going to help me, to have that discipline that I do have to be training, even if it's just like a yoga session, if it's just a breathing exercises, like if it's just, having the rolling, just, like to release all the muscles, it's still training, So, it's been really good for me. And I think that's this 14 days, it's going to help me in the water for sure.
Oh, so good. What a great question. Thanks for putting that one in. We're here waiting for event number 2. So we've had a long delay for that. Pipeline came and went really quick for you. You got a result you probably were hoping to do a bit better, and now trying to build yourself back into the title race, which brings me to a question I was curious about with you, because we talked about this energy crowd, doing well at so many events where you're feeding off crowd noise, your father's whistle, like this energy thing where you are just getting better and better and better. And then at Pipe, there was not a crowd. How does that affect? I think we'll have limited crowd space at these events in Australia, but what was that like when you're so used to this crowd chanting your name and getting you pumped up, and then it was just quiet, probably quieter than a free surf too? What's the difference there?
Yeah, I know. It was definitely kind of weird. It's just like grabbing your jersey and then like putting the jersey on, looking around, nobody, it's just like, oh, okay. And then there's, it's just like, oh, well, put the music on, and then, having the music on. But, it's, it's one thing that we have to actually adjust to, like if, really waiting on that, energy from the crowd, like you're really depending on that, it's going to cost you a heat for sure. But, that was not the problem for me, but it was definitely kind of weird not having people, like screaming, and, we're so used to that, right? Every year, every contest. So, but it is what it is, we're doing what we can to be in the water surfing, and, like Tabesa is doing a great job, keeping us safe, and everyone else too. So yeah, it's, we got to do what we got to do.
I was watching the Dodgers win the World Series, and it was really cool. The players were talking about how they're winning these like division titles, the World Series, and they'd win a game and they're like, are we dreaming? Because it's so quiet. It was just such a different
You're right, is it true?
Yeah. Well, how do you break down the Pipe result for you? How do you take that in and then move on to the next one? And what was happening out there?
Well, it was kind of hard for me, actually, coming to this event. I was because I had this injury down in Brazil, and then I had like pretty much like 2 months not surfing and not really training. So I kind of like lost my rhythm with surfing and training, and I was a little bit out of shape, and it was. But it was, I mean, that's not an excuse, but, those things that happened before. And then I got there, it was, like there's a lot of months not surfing, not putting the jersey on and having a contest. It felt like I kind of like let my emotions go, in a way that I never did. So I don't feel like I was really 100% prepared for that, but I was still like, trying to get back on track surfing and spending time out there. And, that heat against Leo was kind of like out of rhythm, like going in waves that I wasn't supposed to go. And Leo had a pretty good wave, and it was, I was definitely not, like in a rhythm with the ocean. And I mean, it wasn't easy too, but I mean, yeah, it was something off. Yeah.
We talk about so many events where you've won multiple times and you just repeat those victories all the time. And then in your career, you've dealt with the noise as well. Of like, this is where you need improvements. And that always tends to happen at Pipe and Teahupo'o. And, you know, at Pipe too, I love the 10s you've had there, the crazy heat with Kelly, where you were like this close to getting another 10 to win that heat. But it was also so impressive for me because you are going, you're swinging, you take the early trips to Tahiti, and when you had like a lion scratch your back on the reef and going for it. Take us into that athlete mindset when you're going for titles and there might be these events where you see improvement, and how you look at that and how you go, okay, this is something I want to improve, or even just having the confidence to be like, hey, you guys can talk about it, but I'm fine. I know what I'm doing, you know, out there. How does that work out?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what you have to play, you know, like if you think too much about what people say, you just, you know, you're going to go crazy, you know, as the thing that we're talking about before, you know, especially in social media, people talk a lot, you know, so, but it's definitely, you know, like a point that I know, you know, like myself, I know that I need to improve, and, you know, that I do have, you know, like everything to be better at it. So, you know, as you said, you know, he's taking those early trips and, going and, you know, spending time out there and talking to the locals, and, you know, like especially Tahiti, man, it's just, it became like a really special place to me, you know, even though I didn't have like some really great results out there, you know, but just to being able to, you know, to surf over there and feel comfortable with the wave, you know, it's just, it makes a lot of difference, you know. So, yeah, you know, it's a point that I need to improve, and, you know, I've been working on that, and, you know, I'll be there one day.
What would it mean to you to win Pipeline or Teahupo'o in your career?
I mean, it's just like the history that the event has, you know. It's not going to mean something for me just like, oh, you know, I needed to prove to people to win this event, you know, like that's not in my mind, not at all, you know. It's just to have that Pipe Masters board on my wall, you know, that's all that matters for me, you know, the points, and, you know, and another victory to my career.
Just the tattoo that you would get would be amazing. Like,
that's true.
I'm counting on that. Well, this year
true.
Is changing in so many positive ways too, with this lead up to the Rip Curl WSL finals at Lower Trestles. So I'm looking at Teahupo'o to be radical. I mean, think if anyone's out of the top 5 or just on the cusp of being 5th in the world, how is that going to change the event in Tahiti just to make sure you're going to Lowers?
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun to watch, man. It's gonna be one you know, special event. It's always been super special, but this year it's gonna be, you know, pretty crazy. People are gonna be sending it to, you know, like make heats and make barrels and you know, be on the top 5. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting to watch.
So cool. And then Lowers, obviously moving the family to San Clemente, and you've won there. You're one of the favorites all the time, which I'm looking at you going, that is so cool. And then the funny part about it, because I'm kind of afraid of crowds and a lot of people in the lineup, I'll go to like random spots and I'm like, hey, Felipe's here. You know, I think everyone expects you just to be running things at Lowers all day with 300 guys out. I'm like, wait, there's this random little wave and hey, Felipe's there again. Like, it's not like, even though you live right there, it doesn't seem like you're surfing Lowers like day in and day out all day like everybody else does.
Yeah, I'm running from the crowd, man, you know. Yeah. Well, especially now with the pandemic, you know, we can't gather too much people, you know, so I'm running from them. But you know, it's funny because sometimes I just want to surf, you know, like just want to get wet, you know, surf and try a new board, and I don't need to go all the way down to Lowers to try a board, you know. But if it's bumping, you know, it's totally worth it. You know, I go and surf and spend a lot of time out there. And, you know, the days that I go down to Lowers is the day that nobody wants to go, you know, when it's like super windy and raining and really bad waves, and then I go down there and surf by myself.
We have a lot in common, man. That's great. You know, yeah, find some personal space out there on the wrong days that you're not supposed to be down there. Not the
That's
ideal
right. That's the days that I have the most fun.
Oh, that's so great, man. Man, I'm so stoked for you for another year on tour, and running into these new events and a new format, because you are a veteran, even though you're 25, and you've given us so much entertainment and obviously sharing your heart with us as you've been growing up on tour. I think it's time for your quarantine quiz, Filipe, that we've been asking everybody here on Caught Inside. We've got a few questions for you. First of all, how many boards did you bring with you to Australia?
I brought 16 boards from the US here, and then I'm probably just going to order some bigger boards here in Australia for Margie's and, for the West Australia leg. Because we never know. It can be like 3 foot or it can be 30 foot. So you got to be ready.
Nice. Did you reach out to anyone for advice coming into quarantine to see how you'd handle these 14 days? If you did, who were they and what did they say?
Well, we're actually really good. We're prepared for it, because WSL, like Jesse, Renato, everyone worked, so hard for us too. We spend these 14 days here, to go like everything super smooth. And, we have the gym pretty much, we've been, receiving a lot of, care package from WSL and, all the sponsors on WSL too. But yeah, they definitely did give us some advices to be here, to bring, some stuff to training and books and, whatever you could bring to, spend time here. So yeah, we did have a lot of advice.
Nice. 3 of your must-haves that you need in quarantine. I mean, we're a week in. So what are the 3 things you've realized that you've needed so far?
Training equipment, my cell phone, and my wife.
Nailed it.
That's it.
What are your goals during this downtime? And give us an update. We're at the halfway mark. Are you achieving those? And ultimately, what's the big goal to survive quarantine here?
So yeah, well, I think so. I think I'm achieving one of them, which is lose a couple kilos, that I can on this downtime, So I'm working my ass off here in this gym to lose that and stay in shape. That's what I've been trying to do. And, so far so good. We're having fun here. We've been cooking and it's been great. Watching a lot of Netflix and, I've been laughing, right? We had a wine the other day. So yeah, it's been pretty smooth. Yeah, actually, not too bad.
Great to hear, man. Finding a good balance. Yeah. Well, this is the big charter flight trivia question we've been asking everyone.
Okay.
And there's been some great answers, like how many boards were on the flight. There's 522, which is crazy.
Oh,
92 board bags that weighed almost 5,000 pounds. Really cool insight on this WSL charter flight. Cool. Your question, Filipe, is going to be how many tour surfers were on board the WSL charter flight?
How many tour surfers? Okay. Let's see. How long do I have to enter that?
Take your time. Yeah, this is
okay.
This is actually filling up my day. This is great.
All right. Yeah, mine too. It's been fun. We can
don't go, man. Don't go.
So okay, let's see. On board the flight. Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh gosh, that's hard actually, because there's a lot of Australian surfers. Ooh, that's right.
You take a calculator out too.
Let's say the Australians. There's a lot of Australians here already, or pretty much all of them. Say, I want to say that was about.
Take your time.
35.
Wow, 34.
Ooh, he's so close. 34.
That is so close. That is really close.
Wow.
You deserve another knock
I had to
on the
do
door.
the math, right? Because earlier today you said there was 10 Australians. So I already count that out, from the 32 that we have. 32 or 34?
We've got 34 full time on tour. Yeah.
34 with okay.
Wild
So
cards.
then 34, and then Kelly is not here, and then
You're gonna make me
Australians,
double
and then
check
there
my
was-
answer. I better figure this out. Yeah, no, yeah, that was really close.
and
34.
then of course the girls, there's Australian people here, you know, like that they didn't do the flight, they were not in the flight. So I was just trying to think and trying to do a quick math.
On the fly, on the spot, you said 35. There were 34. Man, that's huge.
Yeah, that was
25 men CT surfers, and there were 9 women CT surfers on that flight. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you slept most of that flight, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. Of course. What was that? A 13-hour flight? 15-hour flight?
They said 15 on the thing, but it was.
I woke up. It was like only hour and a half left.
Gosh, great seat.
But you had a lot of turbulence.
My
did you see that?
gosh, that was crazy.
It was,
probably the most turbulence
know.
I've experienced on a flight in a long time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Top 3 for sure.
That was wild. Got here safe, into quarantine, passing the halfway mark, and having a great time, man. Well, you're such an inspiration, Felipe. Thank you so much for the time, and let us know
Thank you guys. It was
what
fun.
you need for the rest of the week, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we're surviving. We're here. It's I'm just keep training going, and you know, I can't wait to leave the room and go surf.
That's what it's all about. We're all can't wait to surf. Well, thank you so much, everybody, listening in to Felipe today. If you want more of Felipe, definitely check out Sound Waves on YouTube and on worldsurfleague.com. That's going to be great. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, Joe.
Yes,
another
brother.
thing. We do have my wife, Ananda, she's launching her single tomorrow. So everyone stay tuned. First music. It's going to be amazing.
Ananda,
Spotify, everywhere, right?
Spotify, Deezer, whatever.
Apple Music, everywhere. So you guys
what do
check it
people search for that? What do we search?
Just her name, Ananda Marçal.
Ananda Marçal. It's,
Marçal.
releasing-
Marcal.
CAL. Parabéns.
Yes. Yeah, he's saying congratulations.
Thank
Parabéns,
you.
ele falou.
Obrigada.
There you go.
Valeu, irmão. Tudo beleza.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having
Tudo beleza. Show de bola.
It's such a great morning, man. And I can't wait for that song to release from your wife. That's going to be a special day for us in quarantine, but also globally. So
it's going to be fun.
Once again, we'll just look forward to another episode of Caught Inside, dropping every other day while we're here in quarantine. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Our next guest will be Lakey Peterson. So,
that's awesome.
Got something for Lakey? Hit me up on Instagram at Joe Turpel and we'll ask the questions. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, Felipe.